Hi, this is Rabbi I'm going to make this short video. I have people, ask me questions and want me to answer, these questions, but, not make, such a long video. So try and cut it short. So question here is, what does it mean to have a rabbi versus just learning off of multiple rabbanim, rather than learning the majority of one's teachings from one rabbi that they're personally learning under? Should a person learn the majority of their teachings from a rabbi that they are personally under? If so, why? And what problems can occur when you learn from multiple rabbanim? Right, difference in Jewish philosophy, etc. So we'll take the first question, right, first part of the question, and that is, learning under one rabbi. Is there a problem? Is there a problem from learning? Right, from learning off of multiple rabbis. Now, if someone has, their personal rabbi, one rabbi, so they take the good with the bad. They take the stringencies with the leniencies, and they're going to follow that, they're going to follow that rabbi. Now, does that mean they can't listen to anyone else? Certainly not, right? There are plenty of good people, to listen out there. There is an issue. There is an issue if you learn by, too many people. A lot of times the philosophy, even if they are Shomer Torah mitzvahs, even if they keep everything in the Torah, it doesn't mean, they have necessarily the same outlook, philosophically. It could be they have different styles of learning, which certainly may be true. Not every style, is certainly, is certainly the same. So learning from different people, right, on the one hand, is not a bad thing, right? Because, you hear, different styles. I mean, again, as long as they're under one umbrella, right? They're under the Orthodox umbrella. It shouldn't be obviously, too lenient or, whatever. Some people like, rabbis that, tell a lot of jokes or, are entertaining. Some like people that are intense. Some like both. So you can get different perspectives. You can certainly get different perspectives, which, again, in the bigger scheme of things, is not necessarily a bad thing. But the problem is when you learn from different rabbis, then the problem is going to be, right? The problem is going to be that they'll have different opinions in Jewish philosophy. They're not gonna say the same things, straight across the board. Will they both agree you have to say the Shema, twice a day for a guy? Absolutely. Will they agree you have to put on tefillin every day, not including a holiday or Shabbos? Yes. Will they agree you have to keep Shabbos? Yes. But again, their philosophy can be different. They can, they can look at things, in a different way. Some people, are more based in Jewish law. Some people more based in Jewish philosophy and Musar, right? So that's not a contradiction, right? It's very rare if someone gets everything, under one umbrella, right? You can ask them any question in Jewish law, anything in Jewish philosophy. They happen to be an expert in everything, right? So people go to different rabbis for different things. Someone wants, strong Musar, they'll go to Rabbi X. Someone wants someone very well versed in halacha, they'll go to somebody else. It's not a contradiction. The only issue is that you can't just bounce from one to another. Because if you bounce from one to another, what's going to happen is you're going to get confused, right? So you have to listen, if you're going to ask your questions, whatever they may be, you should really ask one person, right? You get a standard, I shouldn't say a standard answer, but you're going to get someone who knows you, right? Someone who understands you, right? Not, every rabbi out there understands what a person's going through, understands, where they came from, because they're, if someone grew up, let's say not religious, and became an Orthodox Jew, and this person doesn't really have that much experience in dealing with what we call Bali Tshuva. So that person, may go to him for certain specific halachic questions, but they're most likely not going to be their mentor. Why not? Because they don't relate. They don't relate the same way. If they don't relate the same way, you're not going to learn under that. You're not going to learn under that person. So you go to someone who's more involved working with Baalei Tshuva. You ask them, those questions. I mean, the main rabbi that you have, you ask. You ask them, the majority of questions. You don't have to be limited necessarily by one, by one rabbi. People go to, different rabbis for different things. I've been spoiled for the last 23 years. I have one rabbi can answer me anything, right? Doesn't mean I don't listen to anyone else. I mean, I certainly, listen to sharing from other people, no question. So, it's not a contradiction because, these people's mindsets are more or less the same as my Rabbi. So, it's not a contradiction. I mean, there are people out there, maybe they'd be, more to the left on certain things, maybe politically or, who knows what. So, a person understands that, but, if you look for direction under too many people, in my language, too many hands in the pot, you're going to get burnt. So, when finding a rabbi or someone you want to, emulate, someone you want to, to learn by, etc., it's important they understand where you're coming from, right? That is probably the most, most important thing. Now, learning, by other people, it's not an issue. It's certainly not another issue. But when it comes to learning, right, getting information is one thing. Having someone guide you is one thing. When it comes to learning, though, learning text, you should only learn by one person. You shouldn't learn by multiple people because people have different approaches when they learn the text, right? When they learn Talmud. Not everyone learns the same. Some people emphasize different things. Right? They don't always emphasize the same thing. So people's styles are very different. So if you learn by too many people, you're going to get all messed up. So therefore, a person should take one mahalach, one way, one specific way they want to learn, right? They'll emulate someone, who taught them. And they should learn that way. Doesn't necessarily mean, that person's going to be your spiritual mentor. What it means is you like the way they learn. You like the style in which they learn. You want to emulate the style that which they learn. That you shouldn't do by more than one person. Because if you do it by more than one person, that's going to be confusing. So, learning, having a mentor, you should have one main mentor. But it doesn't mean you can't ask other rabbis other questions, right? It could be the mentor that you have is not equipped to deal with certain things, right? If you have questions of end of life questions, you got to go to an expert, right? Your rabbi might not be an expert. He may tell you in general, but you might have to go to someone bigger, etc. So you have to also know, and the mentor who you go to also has to know what they're able to deal with, what they're not able to deal with. Right? A lot of times, they may send you elsewhere, right, to get another opinion because they're not equipped. They're not equipped to deal with it. So, in short, if you have a mentor, you want to make sure the mentor understands you, where you're coming from, etc. Can you learn from other people? You can certainly learn from other people, but only one person should be the mentor because, people have different philosophy. In different things, if they agree on 99%, right? They look at things in a different way. At the same time, when it comes to learning the text, learning Talmud in general, that you should only learn from one person, and don't go from person to person. Try and bring in many different ways of learning, and try and incorporate all these things in one. That normally doesn't work. Anyone has any questions, you can send them to rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RABBICHAIMCOFFMAN@gmail.com. You can also send me a text, Beyond Orthodox Conversion to Judaism, at or on Facebook, right? You can find me on Facebook. I'm usually around, usually get back to you pretty quick. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and have a great day.